Lil Windex took the internet by storm in 2017, but who is he really and how did he become such a successful rapper? Hello everyone, it's Jay, and let's talk about the interesting rap artist that blew up out of nowhere at the end of the 2010s, known as Lil Windex. So if you happen to like my content, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you think, and let's go. Lil Windex is sort of known as a mumble rapper from the 2017s era, and he became a mainstream success with his hit song Cleanin' Up. Taking a look at the music video, it was obvious that it was a parody of the rap artist of that time. Mumble rap was on the rise, so why not capitalize off of it? This was similar to how Shane Dawson was making parody music videos. One in particular that I can remember was the song Telephone by Lady Gaga. But what really caught people's attention that wasn't just the wig and the visual puns of Windex was how catchy the lyrics were under the persona of Lil Windex. It really drew people to who this really was behind the scenes, including myself. And you could guess that this might have been an industry plan. He even states that in his song PSA. But your guess would be wrong. So that leaves a question: who is Lil Windex? Behind the crazy wig, the racks, and the flashy cars, the Windex persona was used by a guy named Dylan Godfrey. Dylan came up on the internet in the early 2010s making comedic skits as a pastime, but was also making rap on the side. During this time, his artist name was known as DTG, and is still known by that to this day. But let me just tell you that his flow and lyrical geniusness is something that you could really see an artist like Token today. Dylan's skits would range from how not to be a rapper to Lil Windex himself claiming to be better than Tupac, which that claim there gave birth to the whole persona. Bringing up the persona, there isn't much information out there on the internet of how it came to be. For some reason, it's either scrubbed off or people just don't care enough and only care about Lil Windex. But I did manage to find a few interviews, and one interview in particular with 2.9k views would be more in depth with who Dylan really was. It would also discuss topics of how he came up and how he created Lil Windex. I have to note that while looking for interviews on YouTube, there is a podcast by Greyhound Pod that seems to be more of a parody that is similar to something you might see with No Jumper, which is actually quite hilarious because he's using that persona to promote his work on these quote-unquote podcasts. Are these pods real or are they not real? That's totally up to you. But going back to the main interview of who Dylan or Lil Windex is, in this short 20-minute interview, he would go on to talk about his history of coming up, his struggles of working a 9-to-5 while taking care of his family, all while making funny skits for the internet to see. During this interview, Dylan was asked how Lil Windex came to be. He would go on to describe that a friend of his pitched an idea that he should do a parody on mumble rap, because at the time, mumble rap was coming up but getting so much hatred. I mean, take a look at Snoop Dogg and his opinion on mumble rap.
Right now, everybody trying to rap the same style with the, I don't know who created it, if it was Future or Migos.
Dylan took that challenge because he already had the flow and the comedic skit value to pull this off. He would go on to describe that Lil Windex was created by a cheap dollar store wig that he had used in previous skits. And it was also due to a popular video of Lil Windex stating that he was the next hottest thing. This tactic actually worked. Dylan would keep the persona going and drop Lil Windex's first single, Cleanin' Up, that would eventually take the internet by storm. My favorite track by Lil Windex is PSA, which goes on to talk about him bragging about his success in the rap game, which really could be compared to songs like Gucci Gang. Eventually though, the Lil Windex persona would fade out. Dylan would describe in the interview that it was very difficult to keep the persona going all while touring. He would describe that fans wanted to take a picture with Lil Windex and he would have to grab the wig out of his backpack and put it on just to take a picture. Dylan had already been doing tours with his success as DTG, and adding Lil Windex to the mix was like an episode of Hannah Montana. Keep in mind that Lil Windex is not fully gone though. Dylan is still using the persona on new tracks that are up on Spotify. As this Lil Windex persona faded after 2019, Dylan Dylan would capitalize off of new skits about Eminem while promoting the Lil Windex tracks. And I have to say that in the beginning of the Eminem skits, they were very funny, but over time they got extremely repetitive. What makes Lil Windex so interesting is the creativity behind it. Dylan himself was already successful from his comedic skits, his lyrical writing skill, and his use of the internet. Trolling the internet has to be one of the best ways to get fame. I mean, just take a look at Doja Cat and her success. I truly think that if Dylan keeps the Lil Windex persona in the background, it will lose success. I am starting to see a shift with him promoting Lil Windex just a bit more, and you can see that with the newest updated podcast episode. But let's explain further into what I mean by that. The biggest come up for Windex was the use of puns and lyrics, and today Dylan is using that power to make skits on Eminem. Like I said, it does seem like he's trying to resurrect the persona just a bit, but maybe that's the point with Dylan. Just like Lil Tay had disappeared from the internet and tried to come back, and with that statement, he is still making tours as Lil Windex. Dylan has expressed that Windex wasn't always going to be the go-to. He's still using the persona for major things, but not really for content creation. But with that being said, this will be the end of my video. What are your thoughts about Lil Windex? Is the persona similar to what you can find in the rap industry today? Or is it something more, as in how we can use our creativity to create a different person? Now, I'm gonna go get some Windex and start cleaning. I'm out.